you mentioned how forgiveness seems to be absent from this lens that you had.
Yeah.
And how important it is. What would you say to people who disagree with you? Say that, no, that's not true at all. I mean, I guess maybe the better question is, what about people who went through the same sort of teaching that you did, or the same sort of, took the same classes, they were right next to you, but they didn't come out depressed and they didn't come out feeling these things, and they kind of feel that instruction and that those ideas have actually helped them. What would you account for the difference there?
Yeah, I would find it very hard to believe that people are going through this life with that lens without having some sort of like an unnecessary burden. They might have a burden and think like, oh, this is chill. Like, I'll use the example of like having a backpack. You might be like just wearing a backpack and you're doing all these extra tasks with a backpack on that's very heavy. And sure, you might be fine with that, but it's like, you know, what if you did just take the backpack off and put it down for a second and try those tasks again and see how that feels? And it's like, until you kind of test it out, you might not know how unnecessary some of these ideas are to always be aware of. So like in my case, the reason I always bring up forgiveness is because in terms of experiencing like up to 100 microaggressions at least a day, if I went through each and every microaggression, right? Say I'm walking down the street, I leave my apartment right now, a car comes out of the driveway and blocks me off from walking down the path. Like, I personally take that as a microaggression because it's like they don't value me as a Black woman just trying to like walk. It's like, I'm just gonna cut you off and go. So that's like first microaggression of the day in terms of an example. If in that moment I can just say like, you know what, I forgive you. I don't know why you did that. Maybe you're in a rush. I'm trying to apply some grace to the situation. Then that diffuses that moment of possibly holding in a slight that would add up to something way bigger at the end of just one day. So like you count all those incidents and those moments where you have the opportunity to feel like a victim and just being like, you know what, I let it go. Like you might have actually meant to hurt me. You might have actually thought like, I hate you as, you know, a Black woman, but I forgive you. And I do that for myself, not even for, they might know, I'll never walk into that person again, most likely. But for me, it gives me so much like peace and relief in a way that I feel works in the form of cognitive behavioral therapy, where I'm no longer triggered by just someone being, you know, a white male and just like doing whatever they're doing and feeling like that's always linked to me being a Black woman and it's always in opposition to me. And another example would be like, for the example, the N-word. I talked about this in a live stream this week, but this whole Joe Rogan thing, it's kind of helped me put into in more words, given me more words to sort of say that I know that people have struggled with bad words or with just horrible ideas of other groups of people. Like, to pretend like people always have to be perfect and always have to have great ideas about women and every race, and they're always saints all the time, is very unrealistic. We have to understand that we're all going to mess up at some point. And what do you do about that? Are you always going to be hurt by people messing up, or do you want to recognize that you have the opportunity to let go of that and just forgive people for the mistakes they made in the past? Because you've also made a bunch of mistakes, and when your time comes, what do you want? Do you want grace and forgiveness, or do you want to like burn at the stake?